It's all well and good United being linked with signing Baleba and Wharton and Anderson, but it comes with a huge premium. The real success comes to whoever can identify that player, can identify the next Caicedo before he costs over £100 million. And that's exactly why United have hired a new head scout. But who is he? What's his track record? And how will he work? Let me tell you everything about United's new head scout. And subscribe if you're new for daily United videos. There have been a lot of changes over the last 18 months or so to United's whole recruitment setup, and there's another important one. Man United are appointing Kyle McCauley as the new head of senior scouting. What does that role mean? Where does he fit in? What's he done so far? I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in this video. I'll be honest, it's actually quite an interesting video. So, we all know that Chris Favell came in and was appointed last summer in a temporary role to help with recruitment, and then that was made permanent this summer that's just gone. He's now the director of recruitment, and also this year Manchester United have made significant changes to the whole scouting setup. Dave Harrison left. He was, I think, the lead scout. Steve Brown, he was the head of senior scouting, I believe. Thereabout. We had some senior scouts that left as part of the redundancies because it was part of a revamped setup. And now we've got the confirmation from David Ornstein that Man United are appointing Kyle McCauley as the new head of senior scouting. So, let me tell you about his career so far. It might interest you in terms of what he's done. He was at Aberdeen. He kind of retired early. He actually sent a letter to Graham Potter at Ostersund's and ended up going over there on an interim basis. And then he actually followed him to Swansea. And then at Swansea, he was part of a recruitment setup. They identified a couple of gems and it helped them move up the table. But actually, probably his best work came at Brighton during a few years where Brighton's recruitment really, whether it was signing Matoma for $3 million from a Japanese team, or signing Caicedo, or Trossard, or Cucurella, there were multiple instances of Kyle McCauley's scouting helping Brighton identify the gems. And when it comes to the team that's nailed it the most over the last few years, you're probably going to be pointing towards Brighton. You really are. Their model worked. And McCauley was a part of that cog. Now, he's actually followed Graham Potter pretty much everywhere because he also followed Graham Potter to Chelsea. And interestingly, at Chelsea, who did he work with? He worked with Chris Favell. So they worked for a small period together at Chelsea. I wouldn't exactly say the Chelsea stint was successful for McCauley or for anybody really. In that recruitment process, that's when they went absolutely mad for a couple of seasons, spent like 400, 500, 600. I don't even know how much Chelsea actually spent. But I wouldn't exactly say that was littered with successes. Now, after he left Chelsea, Chelsea tried to hold on to him. He actually went to West Ham. And again, I wouldn't really say there's any marks of major success there. It's not to say that all the failures are going to be down to him. But it really is going to be his work at Brighton that is probably earned him this. He was actually linked with becoming United's director of recruitment because Dan Ashworth at that point in time was our, football director, and he was considering bringing him in, and that was 2024. So it's kind of a long full circle situation to where we are now. As I said, The Athletic are reporting that both Chelsea and West Ham actually wanted to hold on to McCauley, but he's left, and he's coming to Manchester United, and it is the latest addition into a revamped and rejigged recruitment setup. And it's interesting that United are splitting effectively our recruitment setup into two distinct sections. One is going to be senior scouting, which McCauley is going to be in charge of, reporting into Favell. And one's going to be emerging talent. Now, if you want to go further back, United got rid of even more scouts, and that's back in 2023 in terms of building different scouting setups domestically and also in Europe and international. Now, Chris Favell is the person that's at the head of all of this. He's our director of recruitment. And if you look at United in the markets, you can talk about, you could talk about Christian Orozco or Diego Leon. Christian Orozco is a 17-year-old midfielder we've signed. He's going to be joining in the summer. The Colombian under-17s captain. That's emerging talent. Diego Leon is emerging talent. Sekou Kone is emerging talent. What United really do need to find, and this could come either from emerging talent or maybe from senior, which is where McCauley is going to come in, we need to find the next Wharton, Anderson, Baleba, before they cost more than 100 mil. And honestly, I go out on a limb here to say that I think the time when Manchester United really find success again is going to be directly linked to when we find these gems and we sign these players maybe for 20, 30, 40 million. And after a year of being the club, wow, they're a £100 million player. I think those two things are going to be absolutely in line with each other. Now, could that be someone like Caicedo, who is more established, already playing senior football for AZ Alkmaar, but could be an I suppose not emerging talent. He's more of a senior talent because he's not someone like Christian Orozco, who nobody knows because he's not playing senior football yet. He's more somebody who is already a senior player, but could he be the right one in the right environment to come in? Ayoub Bouadi at Lille as well. Could he be? These are the sorts of signings I imagine that Kyle McCauley will be more looking at rather than the emerging talent signings, because that's two distinct areas. And it's when it comes to signing like Premier League proven players, do we need a new head of senior scouting to know that Baleba, Wharton and Anderson? No, not really. They're going to be top of all the metrics. They're going to be top of all the data charts that already exists. He is going to be tasked with maybe find. I suppose the environment at Brighton is different. I think, did Caicedo have a loan spell as well when he was at Brighton before he actually emerged through? So it's not to say that United are going to be able to replicate what's gone on here, but it's just a bit of a summary of what McCauley has done and why he's been brought in. Would I say that's the final piece of the jigsaw? I'm not really sure where else. I don't think there's going to be any more senior appointments past this. We've now got the director of recruitment in Chris Favell. You've got a new head of senior scouting who's going to report into him. Do we have a head of emerging talent? Maybe you'd sign someone, and if there's two distinct scouting departments at United now, one's emerging and one's senior. McCauley's in charge of senior. Who's in charge of emerging? I don't actually know that, but maybe they'll bring someone in. But that's why we've appointed him. That's his career to date. He's followed Graham Potter around a lot. Had success at Swansea. Certainly had a lot of success, and most of his success at Brighton. Chelsea, well, their recruitment policy was absolutely wild for a couple of years, and a lot of that probably came from above them, let's be completely honest, with Todd Bowley. And it's working out for Chelsea because they've broken all the rules, and they've bent all. They haven't broken any rules, but they found all the loopholes and sold hotels to themselves so they can spend more and more and more. And of course, if you spend that much, you're going to hit a hell of a lot more. But he's been brought in as a new head of senior scouting to work with Chris Favell, and his task, Jim Ratcliffe, sit down, find me the next Baleba, find me the next Wharton, find me the next Anderson. That's not going to cost me 100 mil. It's going to cost me 25, 30 mil, but you nail it. And at United, he grows into that £100 million player. That's something United need to succeed at. And that's why he's been brought in.